Cassie Jo Stoddart was a 16-year-old high school student with her whole life ahead of her. She was a friendly and hardworking girl who had a passion for art and a love for animals. Cassie lived with her family in the quiet town of Pocatello, Idaho, and attended Pocatello High School. Like many teenagers, she had friends, hobbies, and dreams for her future. Inspired by the movie Scream, 16-year-olds Brian Draper and Tori Adamczyk became obsessed with killing someone, then fatally attacked their classmate, Cassie Jo Stoddart, on September 22, 2006. On the night of September 22, 2006, in Pocatello, Idaho, two aspiring serial killers viciously stabbed their 16-year-old classmate to death. Their motive for the killing was to imitate the cult horror movie Scream and to go down in history for their heinous crimes. The Scream killers fulfilled their gruesome goal, despite the fact that Brian Draper and Tori Adamczyk only killed one person from their death list. Draper and Adamczyk brutally killed Cassie Jo Stoddart, and they then made a video of themselves laughing over what they had done. Along with filming their own murderous scheme, Draper and Adamczyk also took pictures of Stoddart at school a few hours before they killed her. Authorities were able to convict the teenagers and sentence them to life in prison because of the video evidence. Brian Draper and Tori Adamczyk's sinister plot to become infamous serial killers. When Brian Draper and Tori Adamczyk met at Pocatello High School, their mutual love of movies quickly became a friendship. They enjoyed watching horror movies together, and Scream movie was one of their favorites. Hello viewers, in this video, I will take you the chilling crimes of the Scream killers, the 16-year-olds who murdered their high school classmate. In September 2006, at the beginning of their junior year, they decided to make their own film. It would capture their attempt to kill their classmates one at a time, copying the masked killer in Scream. The guys created a death list of possible victims, and the first person was Cassie Jo Stoddart. The murderous scheme of Stoddart was captured on camera by Draper and Adamczyk on September 21st. Draper began the recording by saying, "We found our victim, and sad as it may be, she's our friend, but you know what? We all have to make sacrifices. We are going to target Cassie Stoddart and her friends as our first victims." They knew Stoddart was going to be house visiting at her aunt and uncle's house the following night, and they planned to kill any of her friends who were around as well. When Draper suggested picking them off one by one, Tori Adamczyk responded, "Why one by one? Why can't it be a slaughterhouse?" In response, Brian Draper said, "We're going to make history. We are going to resemble Scream." And the very next night, they carried out their scheme. The Scream killers murdered Cassie Jo Stoddart. Cassie Jo Stoddart invited her boyfriend, Matt Beckham, to spend the evening at her aunt and uncle's house the night before she was murdered. Tori Adamczyk and Brian Draper were also invited, and the four of them agreed to see a movie. The guys immediately stated to Stoddart and Beckham that they would be going to the neighborhood cinema to see a movie. But before they did, one of them sneaked downstairs and unlocked the basement door. Instead of going to the movies, Draper and Adamczyk put on white masks and dark clothing, then grabbed up the knives that they had bought from a pawn shop a few weeks before. They then crept back into the house through the basement door and tried to lure Stoddart and Beckham downstairs by making loud noises. Their first plan failed. When Beckham called his mother to ask if he could stay the night with Stoddart, rather than going to the basement to investigate, she said no, but she told him that Stoddart could come to their house. Stoddart declined, as she did not want to let her aunt and uncle down, and Beckham's mother picked him up at 10:30 p.m. Shortly after, Draper and Adamczyk went and stabbed Cassie Jo Stoddart approximately 30 times. She immediately bled out, after 12 of the wounds proved to be fatal and damaged her heart's right side. After that, the boys left the area, About 11:30 p.m., they went back to their car and recorded their responses to what they had just done. Brian Draper told the camera, "I stabbed her in the throat, and I saw her lifeless body. It just disappeared. Dude, I just killed Cassie." How video evidence led to the conviction of the Scream killers. A few days later, Brian Draper and Tori Odenchik were questioned by police. When Beckham told them, they were among the last persons to see Stoddart alive. Draper continued in claiming that he and Odenchik had gone to the movies, but he was unable to clarify on the details of the alleged movie they had seen. Neither could Odenchik. At first, Brian Draper broke. He stated to the authorities that everything was meant to be a joke and that he was taken aback when Odenchik began stabbing Stoddart. Authorities were guided by Draper to Black Rock Canyon, the location where the teenagers had disposed of their clothing, masks, guns, and camera. They had attempted to burn the videotapes of their grisly confession, but investigators were able to recover the footage and use it to charge the boys with murder. Although they were both under the age of 18 at the time, Brian Draper and Tori Odenchik were tried as adults. During Draper's trial, the incriminating footage was played for the jury. In defense of himself, he said the recording was just made for a horror film the youngsters were making. The boys were given the same sentence, life in prison, after being found guilty of both homicide and conspiracy to commit murder. The Scream killers were caught before they were able to carry out any more murders from their extensive death list. Sadly, justice came too late to save Cassie Jo Stoddart. The media quickly dubbed Brian and Tori the Scream killers due to their obsession with the horror movie franchise. The case sparked debates about the influence of violent films and media on young minds. While some argued that the movies directly inspired the crime, others maintained that the real issue lay in the psychological state of the perpetrators themselves. This case serves as a dark reminder of how easily fiction can become reality when impressionable minds are unable to differentiate the two. The tragic story of Cassie Jo Stoddart's murder is one that still haunts Pocatello to this day. Her life was taken in an act of senseless violence by two classmates who blurred the line between fantasy and reality. This case serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked obsession and the devastating impact it can have. Viewers, this was the chilling crimes of the Scream killers, the 16-year-olds who murdered their high school classmate. Viewers, what you can say about this case, please tell me in the comment box. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth true crime stories. And if you or someone you know is struggling with dark thoughts, please reach out to a mental health professional. Until next time, stay safe. Take care of yourself, and I meet you in a new interesting video.